Vasco da Gama.
No, we didn't talk about
Yes, we did. Did he make his journey to India?
No, he didn't. Oh, wait,
Yes, he did.
He discovered a new trade route.
Okay, how long did this journey take?
it.
One way.
It was 11 months.
It was 11 months one way.
Oh,
Back it was 22 months.
22
So it was like
months?
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years, right? We give them a month to resupply. Because if you're on a boat for 11 months, when you hit land, you want to kind of stretch your legs for a bit. Yeah.
Are they like sitting down on the boat?
No, but they're like, how many of y'all been on a cruise? Okay, cruises. What's the longest cruise y'all been on?
It was
0 days.
Okay, Mikey, if you haven't been on a cruise, you don't need to answer.
it was 5 days.
5 days.
Just like
Huh?
2.
2? 2 weeks? Okay,
I went to college.
David has us beat with 2 weeks. I think mine was 5 days. It was
Wait, but it wasn't all. We like switched ships. Like we were on one ship and then went to another.
okay, but when you're on that ship for a long time, getting back on land, does it feel a little bit better
No.
to get back on land?
Well,
Okay.
I played basketball the whole time. They had a court.
Yeah. I mean, cruise ships nowadays are so huge, you don't really feel the rocking of the water. Unless it's a big storm, and then you do feel it a little bit. But back then, the caravels are not cruise ship size. So you're gonna feel it a lot more. But 11 months of sailing, when you finally reach your destination, so let's assume a month of leave in India and then a month of resupply in Portugal. It's gonna take you 2 years. So if a trade route is gonna take you 2 years, like, think about it. You send out these people to go get you stuff, and they come back 2 years later with the stuff. That's a long Uber Eats.
It doesn't make sense.
That's funny.
I don't get it.
I don't think it was that funny.
It was.
All right. So the next trip. Okay. So when so Da Gama left in 1497. Took him 2 years. He comes back for the round trip. He comes back in what year?
1499.
1499. And now that he's like, hey, I found a route, I found a trip, I found a route. Did Portugal waste any time sending another group?
No.
No. But because it takes 2 years, are you going to want to send a small fleet or a large fleet?
A large one.
Why?
Because
More people.
some might get wiped out.
Well, not necessarily white. Don't think like worst case scenario, but what can you do with a large fleet?
You
More
gonna get
stuff
more-
to sell.
More food.
You can bring more things back.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay. You can bring more things back.
But can't you lose more things too?
You could, but it's going to take you 2 years to get this journey. So you want to bring 2 years worth of supplies, all right, or worth of goods back. Okay. So 1499, Cabral here, Pedro Cabral, he gets sent out with 13 ships. 13 ships to increase, and we already talked about why so many, right? Okay. So whose route do you think he attempted to follow?
The Cape of Good Hope route.
Which other explorer's route?
No.
Yes.
Handsome.
Oh, I'm right. The Gama.
Da Gama. Why do you think you would want to follow Da Gama's route?
Because he was the one who found the road.
Da Gama was successful. So if someone was successful, you're going to follow their route rather than someone who was not successful, right?
He just got lucky and it doesn't work out.
Okay. You're still going to follow a person's route that was successful rather than someone who got lost. Okay. But he tried to follow, but he got a little off course.
Oh no.
Okay. He went, did he go too far west or too far east?
Too far west.
Too far west. And so what landmass does he run into when he goes too far west? South America.
South.
And he
Brazil.
claimed Brazil, the country that is now Brazil. Okay? Which is why in Brazil, what language do they speak?
Brazilian. I mean,
Portuguese. They speak Portuguese. They're one of the only community or only countries in Brazil that does not speak Spanish. Or sorry, countries in Brazil. Only one of the only countries in South America that does not speak Spanish. Yeah, they speak Portuguese. Yeah.
What I don't understand. There's one thing I don't understand.
Yeah.
How do you stray that far off? Like you're going
You
almost
don't-
like a straight line,
Okay,
almost.
But what do you
Go.
what okay, like what do boats have to deal with that cars don't?
Waves.
Currents. And
Oh,
so the
yeah.
current and when you're driving, when you're on land, can you look at the horizon and like see a tree and keep going straight because you see something and you can keep your yeah, you can.
Or no,
If
I
you
mean
see a tree off in the
I meant
distance,
on the ocean.
And you start walking toward that tree, you can keep a straight line. Okay? But out in the ocean, everything's flat. Everything's the same. So it's a lot easier to get blown off course without good navigation. It's harder to go in a straight line. Yeah. So we found Cabral came across, and we know that there's new land, and now Portugal has their trade route pretty much established. It takes 2 years, but it's established. All right. So Columbus comes around, and just a quick little math. If he was 1451, if he was born in 1451, how old
41.
was he when he set sail?
41. Wait, no.
50 something.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
41.
41.
Oh.
Columbus sailed the blue.
1492.
1492. So if it was 1492 minus 1451, that is 41 years old. Okay. So, and we know what this one is, right? Columbus. Who did Columbus sail for?
Spain.
Spain.
Oh,
yeah.
Spain. Right. So the reason he sailed
He
for
was Italian. but
he was Italian.
He sailed for Spain because
Funding.
Queen Isabella and King
Yeah.
they funded it.
Yes, but why did he go to Spain?
Because nobody else
Because he
would.
got
Nobody-
rejected.
Yeah, he did get rejected.
Nobody else
Okay,
helped him out.
so Columbus had this kind of harebrained idea.
Because
It was- it was-
to go west and to the
Yeah, he thought, now one of the big misconceptions about this time is people thinking that the world was flat. That is not true. People knew that the world was round.
People
That-
already knew
Okay, yeah,
way before that.
Yes.
Like the Greeks.
Yes.
They
People-
knew that. They did.
people
they
knew the world was
what we
round.
know.
the misconception of what people thought back then though, was that the world was a lot smaller than it actually is.
They also thought it was like the center, like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
they
it-
Other
also,
planets.
also they thought that there only Asia, Africa, and Europe were the only
Yeah.
things that existed. So when they
Yeah, they had no idea about these because they thought that the earth was a lot smaller than it actually is.
Settle.
So Columbus goes, okay, hey, Italy, I have this idea. He goes to Italy, goes, I have this idea. The world is smaller than, is really small. And if I just sail west, I can reach India and Asia before, faster. Why do you think Italy rejected that?
They didn't like it.
Or like,
I
Was-
didn't believe it.
Well-
He thinks the world's flat.
Did Italy already have a trade route?
They were comfortable.
They were.
They were
Well,
satisfied
yeah, they were
with what they
comfortable
had
because
already.
they were the fourth.
Yeah, they
And
were.
this is a whole new idea. They were like, oh, we're fine for now.
It's a risky idea.
Yeah.
Right?
Also in the Mediterranean.
Yeah, but it's a risky idea for Italy, and so Italy's like, hey, I'm good right now doing what I'm doing. Why take the risk? And so they're like, we pass, right? So let's say he went to Portugal. If he went to Portugal and said, what do you think Portugal would say?
No, we're good
Why?
because
They already had a trade route that they knew, right? They had already spent their resources to develop this trade route, and they're going to keep on doing it.
The
Trade
only
route.
option left was Spain.
Yeah, so he went to Spain and says, hey, Spain, I got this trade route. And Spain is looking over at Italy to the east and Portugal to the west, their country, and they're going,
don't
Wait.
do it. No, I'm.
Sorry.
And they're saying Italy has their trade route, Portugal has theirs. We, Spain, want ours.
Also, Columbus said that he would make it like Catholic based or whatever.
Yeah.
Queen Isabella.
But yeah, whose benefit was that for?
Queen.
Spain.
Queen Isabella,
Queen Isabella.
right? Queen Isabella was really, really religious. She cared about spreading Christianity. And so she made a deal with Columbus. She said, okay, we'll fund you, but you have to promise to spread Christianity. She should have stipulated how he's supposed to spread Christianity. Because did he spread it in a very Christian way?
No, he said, believe in
Believe it
him
or
or
die.
die.
Yeah. It's kind of but the Spanish, like if we, later on we'll look at how the 3 European countries in the New World, and in the Americas, how they treated the natives. Spain was pretty bad. English were pretty bad. The French, they were actually a little bit better. They did treat them with respect. But Spain was by far the worst on how they treated them. Right? So he gets the funding, Columbus gets the funding from Spain, and he sets sail. He thinks that it's going to take him how many months?
Like 4.
3 months. He's thinking it's going to take 3 months to get there. So how many months worth of supplies does he bring?
3 months.
3. Because he plans on restocking. Well, he plans on restocking in India, right?
Yeah.
Getting new supplies and then bringing them back. So at what point in a 3-month journey is the point of no return?
3 months.
At sea. Past 3 months.
No.
4 months, 5 months. 2
Why
months.
1.5 months?
Because that would be like the halfway point in the supplies.
Yeah,
Oh.
right?
That's smart.
Okay, 1.5 months. Have y'all heard that blonde joke about the people swimming across the lake? The 3 girls swimming across the lake. One of them's blonde, brunette, dark hair.
No.
Well, the way the blonde joke goes is the brunettes swimming across. Don't get offended, blonde people. The brunette is swimming across. She gets tired. Made it quarter of the way. Gets tired. Heads back. The brunette or the redhead swims across. Gets tired halfway. Just under halfway. Heads back. The blonde swims across. Makes it 3/4 of the way. Gets tired. Turns back and heads back.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Because if you made it 3/4 of the way, you're already like it's shorter to just complete the journey than it is to go all the way back. Okay.
How
Right.
dare you?
So, but the point of no return
I'm
here
still offended.
was 1.5 months. Okay. So around 1.5 months in, there's still no sign of land. And so Columbus writes in his journal, I am told that if I persist in going onward, the best course of action will be to throw me into the sea some night. What is he describing? What act is that?
Mutiny.
Mutiny,
Woo!
right? And his crew would commit mutiny, throw him over in order to,
Survive.
yeah, because what do they want to do?
Go back home.
Go back home. They're like, Columbus, you're a fool. You thought that it was going to be 3 months. We're 2.5 or we're 1.5 in, and we're not seeing anything.
Then just
Okay.
called impatient.
Right? Well, when you have a limited amount of food, you get impatient. You get angry. All right. So, okay, we already talked about that one. All right. But he did eventually find land, luckily for him, because otherwise he would have been thrown off. Okay. So we can't talk about the New World, Europeans in the New World, without talking about the Vikings.
Yeah.
Okay. Were they the first ones to set foot in North America? First Europeans to set foot on North America?
Yeah.
Yes.
First European.
Huh?
First
Well, yeah,
European.
first Europeans to set foot in North America. Why don't we, like, October 12th is traditionally what day?
Columbus.
Columbus Day. Okay? but the city of Houston's actually, and other cities across are changing it from Columbus Day to what?
Indigenous People Day.
Indigenous Peoples Day. Okay.
Because Columbus was a murderer.
Well, he did.
He also raped all women.
Well, not necessarily him, but his men,
Oh, yeah.
right? Okay. But we hear a lot more about Columbus than we do about the Vikings. Why do you think that is?
Because the
Because
Vikings
the
are
Vikings
supposed
are
to be bad.
dominated.
What?
Are they supposed to be bad?
No?
Okay.
Sir?
Yes, Mike.
I think that it did not kick off because usually barbarians don't tend to have more intellectual sides of.
Well, you're making assumptions based
But
on. Okay.
Vikings in most accounts and textbooks are barbarians.
Nah,
Weren't they mostly in Greenland?
Isn't Greenland?
They kind of
What?
took over England. and
They- yeah.
So.
they were in Iceland. They went to Greenland, and then the Vikings sailed into what is now Canada. But they looked around, and they were like,
Where is everybody?
What was that?
we've seen nicer.
Let's let it go back.
So they go back.
That's why,
and they-
because Columbus actually did settlements there and started a new life there, whereas the Vikings were just like, this is not as good as this.
This is not as good
Yeah.
as Norway.
So they were there like 500 years earlier than Columbus, but they really didn't care. So when they got back home, they didn't tell anybody about it. And because they didn't tell anybody about it, no one else in Europe knew. And so they were still in the dark as to the two continents that were actually there. Okay. All right, so Columbus's journey, we've already talked about this. Who sponsored his expedition? It was Spain. Queen Isabella?
And the other.
Ferdinand.
Yeah. Queen Isabella, though, was the main
Yeah.
pushing force there. Two motivations. One was to spread Christianity. The other was to
Kill
Money.
Oh.
money.
That's what he did.
He did, but that wasn't the reason. Like that was an effect of him. It wasn't the cause. Okay.
Just
Right.
saying.
So Columbus, as with the other conquistadors that came from Spain, Columbus had a sweet deal. Go ahead.
Queen Isabella promised Columbus a share of any riches gained from lands he discovered on his way to Asia.
Yeah. Any riches that he found, he got to keep like half of it. Okay? That's a sweet deal. So imagine the deals like Cortez. Did he hit bank?
No.
Did he get a lot of gold from the Aztecs?
Yes.
Yeah, he did. Pizarro, did he get a lot of gold and silver from the Incas?
Yes.
Yeah. So when they came back to Spain and they said, hey, I've got wealthy being a conquistador, do you think that caused a lot more people in Spain to go, I want to be a conquistador, I want to start exploring?
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably like half the
Yeah.
population.
Now, Columbus, though, took place before Pizarro or Cortez.
Then why Columbus came before?
Okay. All right. The names that he set sail with?
Very good man.
Wait, what?
Very good.
One of them is the pinza. I know that.
Okay.
Nina, the Nina.
Nina,
Santa
the pen-
Maria.
and the
Santa Maria, and the
Pinta.
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 I know it.
Okay. All right, and I actually got a little bit ahead of where we were in the notes.
How much
3
months
Okay.
they have?
How much food?
3 months.
3 months.
3 months.
Point of no return,
1.5.
1.5 months. And then how long were they at sail before they?
6 months.
No,
9 months.
they would have been out of food.
Like more than a year.
3 months.
No, less than
Okay, so
10.
around 2 months.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, around 2 months before they found. So they were already past the point of no return. And if it had gone any longer,
They'd be out of food.
there probably would have been a mutiny on Columbus's ship.
Or cannibalism.
Or, I mean, it could have resorted to that.
Staff.
Could have.
No, that's
Right.
food, guys.
They were the
David.
same age. Queen Isabella.
Okay. When people are put in tough situations, does cannibalism happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Cabeza de Vaca. Y'all remember learning about him last
learned
year?
about him in history last year.
Okay. He was Spanish, right?
Yes.
Did he get captured by Native Americans?
Yes.
Yeah. What did he do when he came?
He ate him.
No, when he came to the New World.
Oh.
What happened to his ships?
They got
They
wrecked.
all
They-
got
on the
ship
Mexico,
wrecked.
Gulf of
But they
Mexico.
lost-
Yeah, they got wrecked in a storm. Okay, and so did he and his conquistadors resort to some cannibalism?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they did. They did. And when the Native Americans found them and heard about it, they were like,
Can't
"Bro."
you see like grass?
All right. Okay, so some other expeditions that Columbus made. He made his first one in what year?
1492.
1492. Then he came back, reported what he saw.
1492. No, 1493.
1493. Okay, so how long is the round trip taking him?
1 year.
Nope,
6
1
months.
and a half years.
not 6
4
months.
years.
Eight
Per
months.
month. 4
About
months.
4 months.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I meant.
If it takes 2 months to get there, 2 months to come back. Okay?
But I thought it took longer than 3 months.
Huh? No. The point of no return was 1.5 months. Right? It took him 2 months to see land, so his crew was already on edge. For that. That's why they were threatening to throw him overboard. Okay. Okay, so we have 1492, 1493, and
1494.
14.
Wait, I thought you were
99.
naming years. 1495. 1490. 1513.
Okay, 1493, 1498, and 1502. Okay. Did Columbus ever set foot in what is now the United States?
No.
No, he feels some island somewhere.
It was all the Caribbean.
It
Yeah.
is
Okay.
Hispanic.
Did he treat those that he met kindly?
No.
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 Killed them.
He killed them. He tricked them out of food
Yeah.
in one instance because he didn't have enough food to make it back.
Didn't they bring disease?
Huh? Well, the disease was unintentional because as Europeans, they didn't like these were diseases that Europeans had built up an immunity to, but the natives had not had any type of natural immunity to it.
So they killed a lot of people.
Yeah, so
Doing that too.
but it was unintentional,
Yeah.
right?
Answer the Vespucci one. That one.
Well, in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. But one of the things that Columbus did when he tricked him out, he used his knowledge of astronomy to predict a new moon where the moon would disappear from the sky. And he had told the natives, hey, give me some of your food to make it back. And they're like, no, we only have enough food to last our wintering. And he was like, well, if you don't give me food, I'm gonna make the moon disappear. And he predicted that the moon would disappear because of the new moon. And they were spooked, the natives were spooked enough to give Columbus half of their food. Huh?
How did they communicate?
They would like, you can learn language through interaction with people.
Yes.
You, like it takes some time, but you can do it. If you were dropped in a foreign country that didn't speak English, over a couple years, or even over a couple months, you would pick up
Certain things.
certain words and have a basis of community.
But now
Communication.
there's at least one English speaking translator
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah. And so they gave him half their food. He made it back, and a lot of the tribe ended up starving to death because of it. Okay?
Why did they want the moon so bad?
Because it was spooky.
Why did
Why did they want the moon so bad?
Well, if Columbus has the power to make the moon disappear, what else could he do?
Oh, you can make
If somebody,
Okay, it's-
imagine it like.
So it came across as kind of magic or godlike action, right? So 1499, Janica,
Yes.
Amerigo Vespucci just realized what?
That South America was a separate continent and not part of Asia.
That what?
South America was a separate continent and not part of Asia.
Yeah. Thus, the name of the new continents became
North America.
North and South America after
America.
Amerigo Vespucci.
Yeah.
So take the
Oh, so it was his. Oh,
Right.
G-O and make it cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Control.
that's where we came across. Okay.
Yeah.
1513, Balboa was the first European to realize to do what?
He hiked through.
He was the first one. He
To
hiked
see the Pacific Ocean.
Central America.
Yeah.
Wait,
He was the
what?
first guy to make it to the Pacific Ocean from the America side. Okay. And in 1520, Ferdinand Magellan.
He was the one that named the Pacific Ocean.
Well,
He reached
he-
the southernmost tip.
Because
He
he
attempted-
was able to go through a small strait.
No, he went around. He went under South America. Okay. But he was the first one to attempt to circumnavigate the entire world, to sail around the entire world.
He wasn't.
Was he successful?
No.
No.
His crew was.
His crew was
He
successful.
died.
But yeah, he died in the Philippines.
How he died? It doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's. But his crew was.
Yeah, his crew did make it back then.
Are we done? That's the end of it. What?
Okay. All right. So now we have 2 European countries that have claims to the New World, right?
Portugal.
Portugal and Spain.
Oh, can I explain?
Okay.
No.
So, what religion are both Portugal and Spain?
Catholic.
Catholic. Okay. So, who do they look to solve international disputes? The Pope. Okay.
Alexander the Sixth.
Yeah. So, the 2 countries, they went to the Pope to solve this, and the Pope said,
Split in the middle.
we're going to put a line of demarcation
From the
right
north
down.
to the south.
Yeah, north to south.
Caution tape.
Portugal gets everything to the east. Spain gets everything to the west. Who got the better end of that deal?
Spain.
Yeah. There's
And
a lot
Portugal
more.
realized it.
There's a lot more land to the west because that line of demarcation
Are we done?
came down about right here.
So much more rain.
Yeah. So Spain got claimed to all of
And
that.
so Portugal got upset and was like, move on. So they signed the treaty.
And that brings us to what we'll talk about tomorrow:
Okay.
how Spain
How did
ruled
Britain
the
get
New
up,
World.
end up having Spain's half of
They signed
America?